Live from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, it's the Joe Cortez Show.
Welcome to the Fair Firm Show. Actually, the Fair Firm Show is on Mondays. Today, Tuesday, is the Las Vegas Show, Joe Cortez Show, here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. You know, with all these shows that I got going, Fair Firm, the Joe Cortez Show, and so many other shows that we got going on. The radio show with John Zimmer, who's another nice co-host that I have on my regular show. But today we're going to have a champion, Jessie Vargas, will be with us shortly here at the studio. But I want to talk a little bit about what happened this past weekend with the fights. Terrence Crawford out of Omaha, Nebraska, for Jose Benavidez for the welterweight championship of the world. Now, we know that Terrence Crawford, pound for pound, he is considered one of the best fighters in the game today. He was a former lightweight champion, super lightweight champion, and now presently holds a WBC and a WBA championship belt. So we think, not WBC, but Sean Porter holds that belt. So now there's so much changing of belts lately, with Crawford winning the title and Sean Porter beating Danny Garcia. It all comes to a mix-up in boxing these days, but I can tell you that this past Saturday, Terrence Crawford really looked outstanding. He had his hands full at the first 4 or 5 rounds against Jose Benavidez, and Benavidez came in to give Terrence Crawford, you know, a good fight. But as we know that Terrence Crawford really knows the game inside out. He just adjusted to the welterweight division because he's a fighter that comes with a great talent. He's developing into the higher weight division, just like Manny Pacquiao. I'm a Manny Pacquiao started as a bantamweight, 118-pounder, end up winning like 8 championships in different 8 divisions. He worked his way all the way up to a super welterweight, 154 pounds. So I can tell you that boxing sometimes can be a lot tricky when it comes to moving up in different weight classes. And as we know that in the boxing game, we have a great talent. Now we have a dear friend that just walked in, Jessie Vargas,
hey, Joe.
with one of our great champions, and it's a great honor to have you on the show with us today.
Thank you. Truly, it's my pleasure to be here, honestly.
And you know, Jessie,
a little early, but I'm sorry I'm late.
you know what? As long as you're early for your fights, that's what's important.
That's right.
You know, we're here for the show, and I was just giving him a little rundown of what happened Saturday night in your division, welterweight division. Terrence Crawford against Jose Benavidez, and that was a good fight. And Jose Benavidez talked a good game before the fight, and before you know it, he was doing okay. But I only gave him about 2 rounds of those 12 rounds, and in the last round there, of course, he had his hand full. Terrence Crawford hit him with that uppercut, and it was lights out for.
You know what? They actually exchanged uppercuts. I mean, Benavidez had just thrown an uppercut himself at that same instant. And
he missed, and Terrence Crawford's connected.
Exactly.
And those punches, you know, as you well know, Jesse, those are punches that you don't see coming.
Yeah.
But you can see the right and the left coming up, but when it comes to the middle and you're throwing a punch on your own, and it was just a matter of who landed it first. Yeah, it could have been the other way around.
Could have been the other way around, but I believe that, you know, Terrence Crawford had a more of a better. He was a sharpshooter, so he knew exactly where the punch was going.
Yeah. And we know that in boxing that. If you're a good sharpshooter, you know it's pretty good. I like to see a good accurate puncher like yourself. You're a good masterful boxer in there. You know you don't waste your punches, which is important in boxing. A lot of guys go out there and throw 100 punches, they only connect maybe 10, and that's not good. You want to see a good boxer, smart. That's why they call it the sweet science.
Yeah.
As you well know, Jesse, you are one of my favorites because of your style, inside the ring and outside the ring as well. I like the way you carry. I like the way you carry yourself. And you're going to be around for a long time. You're still young. How young are you now, 28?
I'm 29.
29?
Yeah, 29.
Okay.
Just turned 29, and you know, living life. But at the end of the day, just trying to build more success, build my legacy in this beautiful sport. I mean, the reason why I say it's beautiful is because I grew up in it. You know, I was 8 years old, and I learned so much through the years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, I know that boxing is a passion for you, and your focus. You love the sport. We all know that in boxing, we either born with it or we're not born for it. You were born for the fight game. This was your style. But nobody would ever know that. We think that you look more like a movie star, a clean-cut guy, no marks. You're unmarked in boxing because you've always maintained that smartness in the ring. But not only that, but you're a role model in the community here in Las Vegas. You're born Vegas?
I was born in Los Angeles, raised in Las Vegas. So that's why I represent Las Vegas. Been here for so long. I've been here since I was 7 years old. So I've been here ever since I could remember. And I've always tried to be a positive role model for everyone here. You know what I mean? The youth, especially the youth. I believe they need it more than anyone else. And I try to just check myself with every action that I make.
I know you've been around, involved in different activities. I've been with you some of these events with the young kids, especially up in the mountains up there where we do
Spring Mountain and, youth camp.
Yeah, the youth camp and the Mount Charleston is that place up Mount Charleston. There's a rehab, juvenile detention center up there. They have a boxing program there. You and I have been up there with Sean Porter and a couple other fighters to help these kids and try to get them on the right track. You know, I believe in second chances in life. They have a program here in Las Vegas, Hope for Prisoners as well. And that's a program I've been to about 2 or 3 times for they have graduations for the Hope for Prisoners, adults. And but I know you're giving a lot to the community with your popularity and you as a role model in boxing and in the community, because people look up to you. And every time I talk to people say, I know Jessie Vargas. Everybody seems to know you in this town. Wherever I go, whether it's adults or kids, you're a household name, which is so important. A question now, you have been champion on 2 occasions.
Yes, that's
World
correct.
champion. Can you walk us through your first championship?
My first championship was back in April of 2014. I fought for the WBA world title, and it was an amazing experience. I was hungry. I was hungry for success. I wanted to become a world champion, and thankfully, that night, nothing in the world was going to take that away from me.
And who was your opponent that night?
My opponent was Khabib Alekberdiev. He was a Russian, an undefeated Russian. He had just came from beating Joan Guzman, and he won the WBO and IBO title.
Wow.
A funny story about that. Well, let me explain what happened in the fight first. You know, so I was hungry. I had a great trainer. I had my father behind me. You know, same team, and we come out victorious in a 12-round decision. And I'm holding the WBA and IBO belts, right? And I'm happy. You know, I finally accomplished my dream. And I just looked up in the air and thank God for finally giving me this accomplishment. And as I'm going back to the locker room, I'm talking to my team with my belts around my waist, and they just come and collect them. What do you mean? So yeah, they collected the belts because, I mean, after you beat the champion, you are now the champion, but the belt still has to be delivered to you.
Right.
You're not taking that belt because
Right.
that belt was the champion's belt.
Right.
I mean, the former champion's belt at that time.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you mean? I'm not giving you my belt.
Yeah, well,
Like, yeah, you have to. They explained it to
yeah,
me.
Yeah, that's you have to go through the ceremonies. They leave you
Exactly.
the belt and all that night just for the photo shoot, for the presentation, and you're the new champion.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you got to give.
But I got it. Yeah, for sure.
But then you got it in the mail or they deliver it to
Definitely.
you.
They
You
delivered it to me personally, and it was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, I didn't get the IBO belt because I did not know that we didn't pay the sanction fees. I said, what do you mean I didn't pay sanction fees? But my manager at that time decided that he only wanted the WBA, and I said I wasn't going to argue with him about it, and I kept the WBA. And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, exactly. And they're talking about the sanctioning fees. Explain that to the fans, because some of the fans don't know what happens. You get the belt, you pay a sanctioning fee, you don't get the belt, but you're still the champion, or you're not champion. How does that work?
Well, every opportunity you get to fight for the belt, you have to pay sanctioning fees, which is a certain percentage of any of the earnings that night, and that's the way that works.
What is it, like 2%? Like 2%?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
3% most of the time.
So you rather keep that, let them keep the belt, or you keep that 2 or 3%?
You know what? It would have been worth paying the 3% in my eyes, definitely.
Yeah.
But my manager, he felt otherwise, and I didn't disagree with it. I said, okay, it's fine. I'm still the champion no matter what.
That's right.
And that's the way it went. So every fight, every championship fight, the contender or the champion, they have to pay 3%, 2 to 3% of their earnings in both.
Okay, so now what happened for the second time around? You lost the title to who?
Well, I defended that title several times, the WBA title, and then I relinquished it. I let the title go because I was going up in division.
Okay.
Yeah, so I never lost that title. I just let it go myself. And that's when I fought Timothy Bradley, and then I we were fighting for the WBO belt, which everyone knows what happened in that situation. Unfortunately, the referee.
Walk us through the whole thing. What happened that
Well,
night?
I'm fighting a 12-round fight, and against Timothy Bradley. It was a good fight. It was very entertaining. It was at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, on HBO, and it was entertaining the whole way through. Unfortunately, in the last round, the last 10, about 13 seconds, 15 seconds, I landed a big right hand right over the top. And I staggered and hurt Timothy Bradley. He goes out of balance and walking left, walking right. And I'm trying to go on the attack, and I am. And I landed, I missed a hook, I missed another hook. And then right when I got in close, I landed 2 body shots. And he just drops.
And then the 10-second warning?
No, that had already rung.
Oh, okay.
It had already rung when I had hit him with the, 2 seconds after I hit him with the right hand.
Right.
So I'm going after the attacker. I knew it's the last 10 seconds, and I'm going after him. 12th round, and I hit him with those 2 body shots because he was holding me. And his body just drops for a little bit. And that moment, the referee jumps in and just waves the fight off. I'm like, yeah, I'm celebrating.
And you thought you won?
Yeah, I'm celebrating. I said, yeah, that's it. You know, so I get up on a corner and I celebrate. And then a few minutes later, we're all celebrating, actually, my coach and I. And a few minutes later, the referee comes. Actually, no, there's people that are walking into the ring, holding on to the referee's arm and yelling at him. You know, it seems like they're confused.
The referee was Pat Russell?
Pat Russell. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then after that, the referee comes to me, and I hear that they say, thought I heard the bell ring.
Right.
I thought I heard the bell ring, which the bell had not rung. That's why I was celebrating, because I thought that he had stopped the fight because I had heard him, unfortunately. And they went back to the scorecards, and he beat me by decision, which he was up on the scores. I will admit that. And that's why I went out in that 12th round trying to land everything I had, and I did. I took him out, and I was one of the few fighters to ever do that to Timothy Bradley.
Yeah. I thought myself when the referee went like this, 'cause that's a sign when you stop in a fight.
Yeah.
If the bell rings, the final round, you just separate them, you know.
Yeah.
But he did the signal like this over his head, like it's, you know. I said, whoa, he's stopping the fight. I said, wow, Jesse pulled it out.
I know.
And then when no, he didn't. He thought he heard the bell, and he didn't.
But he told us this, Joe, right before the fight. He goes into the locker room and he explained everything to us. And he tells us, all right, after every round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get right in between you two and stop the fight with one hand in between both of you fighters.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to
the end of the round.
It's the end of the round. And if I see anyone hurt at all whatsoever, I'm going to step in and I'm going to make sure you're safe, because no one is going to get hurt inside my ring. And he emphasized on it. And he says, the most important thing is your health. And then after that, he said, so, yeah, that's what he said. He says, each and every round, that's what I'm going to do. If anyone is hurt, that's what he said. If anyone is hurt, I'm going to step in and I'm gonna wave the fight off. That's what he said, yeah. And then after he says, because after I have to protect U.S. fighters, and he says, the 12th round, the last round, from beginning to end, he was going to do that, you know, and he explains to me very, very to perfection that was going to be the way the fight was going to work. And the minute he waved it off, I was celebrating. I was happy. I had pulled it off.
Not only you, the whole world thought that when he jumped in, we thought he would stop. I thought, Jesse pulled it out. I said, wow.
Yeah, it was,
you know?
It was an amazing moment at that time, because I thought that I had pulled it off. I did pull it off. It was just, I don't know what happened to lead to the referee to change his verdict. And it just sucks, but we just continue to look forward. You know, ever since then, we've gained nothing but great experiences, you know, some ups and downs, but overall, I'm still here, and I'm still pushing forward, and I'm still a household name, and I'm giving my fans nothing but great fights, which is what I think is mostly entertaining for them. It's mostly what satisfies them. And you know, I'm happy to be a entertaining fighter and a fan-friendly fighter.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, no, we were talking about you yesterday about Terence Crawford's victory over Jose Benavidez. He said, well, who would be a good opponent? I said, well, I think Jessie Vargas would be a good opponent right now for Terence Crawford, because I think you have the experience, you got the knowledge, you've been there at welterweight for a while, either you, and Manny Pacquiao's name came about, and somebody else. But I think that you will be the right opponent for Terence Crawford now, because he does hold the welterweight championship. He's considered one of the best in boxing, and especially as a welterweight. But he's coming up in weight now. He's not. I don't think he's been adjusted 100% to the 147. But the guys hit a little bit harder, and I'm sure you got a much better punch than Jose Benavidez, and I think you'll be a big threat to Terence Crawford. So I'd like to maybe hopefully see that fight happen, and they will consider you for that fight, because Terence Crawford, I cannot see him right now put him against Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman. I think they're probably going to say, you know what, those guys probably going to give me a fight. But I said, but Jessie Vargas is going to surprise the whole world, because Jessie Vargas, I know what talent you have. I know what you can do. I hope they give you the shot. So this way, if you give me that shot, then you prove the whole world. You make it, they say, okay, Joe called it that night here in Las Vegas,
That's right, Joe.
And I really think you got the knowledge, the skill, and you're in your peak right now. 29 years young, you just turned 29. You got a lot of years left in boxing. I mean, I remember seeing some fighters like Manny Pacquiao. He was 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. He's still 38, and he's still going at it. He's still looking good. So I said, fighters, you're only 29. Come on, you got a lot of years left.
I feel the same way, Joe. I feel that I have plenty of time left in this amazing sport, and I hope that I give all my fans nothing but great fights, and that they continue to accumulate throughout the years, and that way I earn their respect, and then become world champion once again. That overall, that is my goal, and I am going after all the champions. But I am ranked number 2 right now by the WBC, number 2 by the WBA, by the IBF, I believe I'm ranked number 3. So I'm up there. So I can fight for any title.
No, there's no question about it. You're definitely up in the top 2 or 3 in every sanctioning body out there. How do you see the state of boxing today now as it was maybe 10 years ago?
I think the welterweight division is on fire right now. I think it's been a while since we have had so much competition in this division. I mean, we're looking back at a similar time when Sugar Ray Leonard was fighting Hearns, Duran.
Right.
We have Hagler. Right now, we have a lot of great champions right now.
Keith Thurman, you have Danny Garcia, you have Sean Porter, you have Jessie Vargas, you have Manny Pacquiao, you have
Errol Spence. You have, even the guys that are, still trying to challenge us as Andre Berto, the division is stacked right now.
Yeah,
Victor Ortiz, he's still there. He's still trying to push through, even though he has some legal problems right now.
Yeah, what's happening with that?
Yeah, you know what? He just, I think he was let out on bail with this conviction that he was in trouble with. But we might have to put him to the side right now since he has those legal problems.
Yeah, he had a fight scheduled 2 Sundays ago, and they had to cancel his fight because of his allegedly rape charges against him.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't look good for him, but let's see. But I say innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, that's right. And he has a certain time to prove himself innocent, but it's a tough charge, and we don't know what happened. Only he knows. He pleaded not guilty. We do know that. So now he's going to have a long case that he's going to have to, get to.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was so about these fighters, these athletes out there, not only in boxing, anybody for that matter. Be careful how you carry yourself, and always try to think twice before you make any moves on anything, because as a fighter or as a celebrity that you are, you're under a microscope at all times, and there are people always looking at you real close and see how you carry yourself, especially outside the ring. Adrian Broner got himself, he's another welterweight that we didn't mention. Yeah. He's still in the mix in there as well. And
I fought him, and
you fought him about 5-6 months ago, right?
Yeah, I fought him in April. And we fought at 144.
144.
He didn't want to fight at 47, unfortunately. So I took myself down to 144. It was one of the most difficult times to make that weight, but I made it. And ever since that fight, he wants to make sure that he doesn't go above that weight.
Yeah. He knows he'd be in trouble with a solid welterweight like yourself.
Yeah.
And sure, he's a fighter that has a lot of talent, but has a lot of
bad habits.
Bad habits, a lot of personal issues outside the ring, and that's where he got to the young fighter that has a great talent, and sometimes they throw it away because it goes through their head. They lose focus of of who they are and where they're going. But you have always kept yourself very focused. I've always admired the way you've carried yourself, and yeah, I met your beautiful little young sister. She's like a guardian angel. She's always by your side.
That's right.
Always. I love to see that. And you come from a great family. I like that. Now you had Mr. Garcia, who was your cut man. He passed away last year, and he was about what, 80 some odd years old?
Yeah, I believe he was 89.
89, wow.
Yeah, 89.
He's one of the cut men that you see in the ring. He had a white hat with all the little pins of all the different countries he's been at, and he was a very well missed in boxing, and one of the great cut men in boxing history.
Yeah.
He worked for you for many years since you were a young fighter.
That's right. I mean, Rafael Garcia was a legend himself, you know.
Rafael Garcia.
That's right.
Is there kind of a museum or something in Texas?
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah, they opened up a museum in his honor.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of his memorabilia. From when it comes to the Roberto Duran shoes to the Floyd Mayweather fighting gloves that he actually fought with.
Yeah.
And
he used to wrap Mayweather's hands, right?
He was for several years.
Several years.
Yeah, I think ever since they started considering him pound for pound the best, Rafa was with him.
Yeah, Rafa.
Actually, the first time he was with him was when he fought Corrales.
Corrales, that's right.
And they told me what happened on that occasion. Someone else was working with Floyd, but for some reason that cut man thought that Corrales was going to win, so he ended up switching over to Corrales, and that's when Floyd brought in Rafael, and then ever since then, Rafael has stayed by his side, and Rafael saw him as family,
right.
Floyd as well. I mean, Floyd went to visit him on his last days,
right.
His last days that he did have, and it was tough to see, but you can see the love between both of them, and of course I was there. I mean, I'm the one that called Floyd, let him know that he wasn't doing well, and I'm glad Rafael got to see Floyd, myself, and all the people that loved him before he left.
Yeah, he'd be very well missed in the sport of boxing. Now, what fight do you have on the horizon? Anything new for you coming up?
You know what? We just got back from another fight myself, so now I'm just looking forward to talking with my promoter, my advisors, and see what's next. We should be scheduled to be fighting in March or April. That's the plan. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now I'm going to take a couple weeks off, and then I'll come back and start getting back into the gym and getting back to the drawing board, making sure that I'm only perfecting whatever my arsenal.
Yeah, well, we know you had that loss 2 weeks ago. With actually, it was not a loss; it was a draw. You were on your way winning the fight, and you got caught with a couple of seconds to go. You got caught with a shot.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
And I think you were more off balance than anything else. You got hit with a shot. You went down, and you got up, but the bell rung.
Yeah.
And you ended up with a draw.
I had the fight won.
Yeah.
Even a lot of my fans tell me, you had that fight in the bag. I said, I know, but I don't just cruise. I want to fight. I want to give you your money's worth, and that's what I was doing at that time. And maybe it backfired, but at the end of the day, everyone knows me as the fighter that I am, and that is an entertaining fighter that will fight to the end. This time it bit me. It hurt. Yeah. I mean, I had the fight in the bag, so it bit me in the butt.
Yeah, but you know what? But you learn from it.
You do.
You didn't get hurt. You learned from it.
I remember the Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya fight, Trinidad, Mexico rivalry, and I said, I don't want to do that. I want to finish strong. That's what I was thinking in the last round. And I know I have this fight in the bag, but I'm not going to cruise. And that's when I began fighting. And I guess Oscar De La Hoya did have a reason to cruise, and if he had the fight in the bag.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, this is what happens in boxing. Sometimes we make some moves, but that's why Terence Crawford, he took that chance to gamble with Jose Benavidez. Yeah. He didn't have to go all out in the last round. He could have just started dancing around, keep it a distance, just wait for the clock to run out, and he would have gotten the win for sure. But he said, no, I want to go out in style. So he took that shot, but he's lucky that he nailed Benavidez first and not the other way around, like I mentioned before.
It was literally centimeters away from landing. I'm talking about Benavidez punch.
Yeah.
Just his was, on the money.
Yeah. But I think that boxing really, 2019 is going to have a lot of good fights. What do you think about the heavyweight division?
I think it's doing extremely well right now. You have several fighters that are on the top of the division, but mainly it's just two. You have Anthony Joshua and you have Deontay Wilder, and then around those two, you see the Gypsy. I follow him on Instagram, so I know him as the
Tyson Fury.
Gypsy. Tyson Fury, yeah, he calls himself the Gypsy.
Right.
Tyson Fury, and actually, Anthony Joshua just beat Povetkin, which Povetkin was a top contender.
He was a tough guy. He was dangerous. I thought he could give Joshua some trouble, and Joshua was able to beat him. But in the heavyweight division, see, there's not that many great heavyweights right now out there. You only got Joshua, you got Deontay Wilder, you got Luis Ortiz, which could be dangerous.
He could be dangerous.
And Tyson Fury. Those four right now are the ones that I can see that. But once they beat each other, who's going to be left in the heavyweight division?
Exactly. That means that we have King Kong, Luis Ortiz, to fight Anthony Joshua next.
Yeah.
That's probably what may happen.
If Joshua beats Wilder.
Well,
I don't
think
they're not even matched up yet.
Yeah. They're trying to make it though, Joe.
Yeah.
As you know, they're very close to finalizing. From what I'm reading online, I also have the same promoter as Anthony Joshua, and Eddie's trying to make the fight happen. Eddie Hearn's trying to make the fight happen. So
he's your new promoter, right?
He is. He's my promoter. I'm very happy with him. And, he's making big moves in the sport of boxing in the UK and in the United States. He's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
I think he's putting up some of the biggest fights of the year himself. I mean, the Povetkin-Anthony Joshua fight did extremely well. We have another fight, which is Tony Bellew versus Usyk, which is going to be December 10th,
right?
I believe. It's going to be televised through DAZN. And that's going to be in the UK, and I'm sure it's going to sell out. So we have a lot of big fights. Oh, we have No Ninja Donaire fighting November 5th. Yeah, is it November 5th? November 3rd?
Yeah.
Someone has to look it up for me, but it is. No Ninja Donaire is coming back. Yeah, first week in November. He's fighting in Scotland. And I'm wish him all the best. I hope he comes out with the victory. That's going to be a good fight as well. He's trying to make his comeback. And, I'm supporting him all the way through.
Good. I've seen you do some commentating for some of the fights in the past, and I think that's going to be your second calling in the sport of boxing. I think you'll make an excellent ring commentator. You have knowledge and a lot of wisdom of the sport. People like you are the people that we need in boxing. Fighters that they have a second career after their years in boxing. So I'm sure that down the line or in between fights, like Andrew Ward is doing right now, he's commentating.
Yeah, and he's doing an amazing job.
He's doing an amazing job, yes. And just like yourself, you're excellent at calling the game. I like to see individuals have been in the ring, have had, that experience, what it feels like to get hit with a punch. A lot of these commentators, they do a great job, but they never lace down the gloves. I always respect more like George Foreman, was very good as a commentator, Andrew Ward, and even Bernard Hopkins. And yourself, there's a handful of good ex-boxers I see out there that are excellent in what they do calling the fights. And I want to see you down the line as one of my favorite commentators in boxing.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah. You do an amazing job. The in and out of boxing, and you do an amazing job yourself. I've seen you on ESPN and several other shows, and you always analyze each and every fight with perfection.
I try to. I've been in boxing since I was 12 years old. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And
you box yourself.
I was a fighter myself. I had 19 pro fights with 1 loss, and I was won the Golden Gloves.
So you understand the game.
About 6 times, yeah.
Yeah. So that's you know what, I think the same way, and I've said this to a few of my friends in the past. I don't know why, word for word, I don't know why they have these guys as commentators, and they never laced up a pair of gloves. They've never been inside the ring. They don't know how it feels to get hit with a punch or try to set up a punch. Or they can't understand what's really going on inside that ring.
Right. Well, Jesse, I want to just thank you so much for being on the show today. Fans, is one of the great ones, one of my favorites. Jessie Vargas, Joe Cortez here from Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. We'll catch you next Tuesday here in Las Vegas. My champ here, Jessie Vargas, champ.